Hello and welcome to English Capsules. Today's capsule, Forward and Rewind, our experience with learning. Get your coffee ready and let's get started.
Okay, so hello everyone, welcome once more. Today we're going to speak about our experience in learning, how we learned when we started with English.
Mhm.
And we came up with forward and rewind because we are from the era of cassettes, right? We are quite old
We are
ladies.
so old.
It's not that we are old, it's that technology goes pretty fast. So we are not so old.
I have to admit that I feel stupid about this because my teacher had this superpower, or, or at least now I see it as a superpower,
Yeah.
that she used to rewind and she had like the perfect spot on the tape where the listening that we were doing began, because you have to consider that the listening was recorded throughout the tape, but you don't have any markings or anything telling you where it
Nothing.
started.
Yes.
It's not like a CD where you have the tracks.
The track.
This is tape. If you don't know what is a cassette, that's on you. Do your
Google.
research.
Google it.
And I was thinking that nowadays that we have technology, sometimes for me it's hard to find the exact minute and
Yeah.
second where the recording starts. And I'm like, how did she do it?
And many times it happens that, in my case at least, that I want to go back just a few seconds and the track starts all over again. Like, no. And they have to listen to everything again. But well, yes, it happens. Maybe she had a superpower, but because it requires a lot of skill to do that. Yeah.
Wasn't your teacher more or less the same?
Yeah, she could find the spot pretty quickly. But what I liked the most about her use of cassettes was that, first of all, she was really organized. She had all the boxes of the cassettes with the names, right? Which was really pretty admirable. I think that maybe we do that nowadays with the folders in our computers, but well, this was organized. But she had this cassette player or music player where you could slow down the pace. So it's like,
Wow.
this is similar to what YouTube has nowadays, that you have the regular speed, or you can make it faster or slower. So she had this, she could make it slower. So if there was any listening which was hard for us, or if the speaker was like, that many times it depends on the speaker, that
Mhm.
many people are more easy or are easy to understand, and many others are not so easy to understand. And many times that happens because of the speed of their speech. So when there was one person speaking really fast, she used this and she reproduced or replayed the recording more slowly, which was great for us.
Well, I'm thinking that one thing that changed drastically, that I'm starting to see more often now, is that we used to have books.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you have the option of buying a PDF, and well, I don't know if most, but a big number of schools here are turning into using tablets and these type of devices.
Yeah.
So you don't have a physical book, you have a digital book.
Which I think it has some benefits, mainly for the environment, let's say, because less books are being printed. And it's comfortable because if you think about the weight in your backpack, well, you have to carry one tablet, and then there you have all the books that you need for the class. I remember when we were kids, the backpacks were heavy. And I am thinking now about university. When we
Wow.
went to university, we have to carry the books for language, the books for phonetics, the dictionary, the English dictionary for the meanings of the words, but there was also a phonetics dictionary,
We also had one for grammar, remember?
And then when we started working with history, for example, I remember that I had the English dictionary, and then I had another one about antonyms and synonyms because we were asked to write paragraphs or texts during the exam. So maybe it was faster for me to look for a synonym than to look for another word in the other dictionary. So I had two dictionaries, the books or the copies for history. So it's like it is a lot of weight. So pragmatically speaking, this is easy to carry
Well,
just a tablet. The contact is not the same. I agree on that.
nowadays there's a tendency to go back into books because some research has proven that you don't storage the information in your brain in the same way. So there is a tendency to go back. However, there are programs that don't require you to carry the amount of weight, the beastly amount of weight that we used to carry. I remember what you were saying about the dictionary, two things. I remember buying a new dictionary when I started university because I had had mine for 40 years, more or less. And I remember that was like an extension of my arm because as the backpack was so heavy, I used to carry the dictionary in my arm.
It was impossible. When we went to university, it wasn't so fashionable for teachers of English or for students of the to become a teacher to use these backpacks, to carry the backpacks. So all the books were in my hands.
Oh, wow.
The notebooks, the pencil case, everything was in my hands. Awful,
No.
really uncomfortable, and really a high probability of losing many things.
If one thing falls, like everything falls.
Yeah, or maybe you were going to have some lunch at the canteen and then you were moving from one classroom to the other. You were moving constantly from one place to the other. It was really probable for you to to lose everything. But well,
Speaking of which, in case our audience hasn't noticed, but we are referring to physical dictionaries. Recently, I've noticed something. That I'm teaching young learners, and one of them is a fan of Pokemons, and she's got this Pokemon guide. Yes, and you got like all of them in alphabetic order. She doesn't know how to look for the things. Like she doesn't know the order of the alphabet or where to go if she needs to find such and such letter. So she doesn't know how to use a dictionary because nowadays we don't have physical dictionaries. We have online dictionaries.
In the case of my kids at school, they ask them to carry their own mini dictionaries. Maybe it's like it's the old way, but that works.
Okay, another thing. Well, this one was particularly common in Argentina, and I don't know if today it's still common or not. Photocopies. Like, how many photocopies could you get? Because I remember my teacher having piles, everything organized, right? But when we were practicing something, she had piles of copies from the exams that I remember that, for example, preparing for a certificate, she used to have the booklet because it was not online. You couldn't look for the exam online.
Yeah.
So she had all the copies and everything. And nowadays, I don't know how common it is to have as many copies as we did.
The thing is that now, for example, to sit for an exam, you can get ready using mock tests that you can find online. There are many websites with mock tests. So there's no longer the need of printing things because it's like uncomfortable. And then many of the international exams have the internet-based test or the computer-based test, which means that you are not going to write your answers in a piece of paper. So the copies are no longer necessary because maybe the exam doesn't need the copies. Okay, speaking about something else in relation to our topic, today's topic, I think what also changed was the focus of the teaching and the focus of the learning. When we were learning English, when we started, the focus was more grammar based. We had to learn the grammar, and many people thought that if you didn't know the grammar, you didn't know English.
Right, which is now like in your face because native
Exactly.
speakers don't respect grammar rules. It's like,
I'm not saying that grammar is not necessary. I'm saying that now the approach is different. That now it is a more communicative approach. Get your message across. It's not that it doesn't matter how, but well, at the beginning, the first focus is to get the message across. Then you can polish. You can work on that. You will have to resort to grammar and to learn a few rules and to get some practice, but that is not the core of the teaching anymore.
no. However, I do rely a lot on grammar, probably because of the way I learned it.
Mhm.
But for some of my students that are more analytical, grammar is like a lifesaver because it's like you can rely on. I'm going to say you can rely on the rule, but in English, for every rule there is an exception. So you can more or less rely on the rule.
Well, that happens in all the languages, that happens. But I mean, if you know that if you follow the rule, there are many chances of getting something right.
Thinking of another thing that is different nowadays, and it's quite related to cassettes.
Mhm.
I don't know you, but my experience with videos in English is like quite recent. Like I remember when this series of books started to appear. What's their name? New English File, is it?
Ah,
Or
yes,
that they had
the
videos, and that
practical
was like,
English.
wow, a revolution. Because I don't know you, but we didn't have any videos.
It
Whatever
wasn't,
was a VHS, and once in a blue moon.
but it wasn't because of the teachers.
No,
I
no.
think it was that the books, the material that the teachers used didn't include videos. Because if you think nowadays, well, you have the New English File or the English File at the beginning. They have this practical English section where they teach you like everyday English that you need. And they do that with the videos. At the beginning, they were DVDs. Now you can find all the videos in YouTube. So
Hmm.
great. But then you have many other books nowadays that include a video. Like, for example, I use business books and they include interviews with entrepreneurs, interviews with CEOs. They use that as a complement for the listening part.
Regarding children's book, young learners, most of them nowadays come with videos because
Mhm.
like these generations demand more. Maybe we were happy with a song and dancing and singing, but nowadays they are visual. They need the stimuli. So nowadays that's, at least for me, that's a big change from what I remember.
As we mentioned at the beginning, kind of a joke, but technology is going really fast. And this is good that technology can be implemented into learning. And this is great because this also takes us to different platforms or different learning tools that there are nowadays that maybe in the past we didn't have, or maybe there were some, but not everyone had access to them.
While I was learning English, I was never in contact with something similar to any of these that we're going to mention now. I don't know what's your experience.
No, there wasn't anything like that. Now we are talking about language learning apps,
Mm-hmm.
which it was impossible to have had in the past because there weren't even cell phones. The language learning apps are a great tool for learning because you can have them in your phone, in your smartphone. You can use them all the time. You can access them all the time.
I think that the biggest difference in our lives and in our learning is internet, because internet makes the world come closer to you. Like when we were studying, you didn't have so many opportunities to be in contact with the language. But nowadays, it's like you were saying, you can listen to music, you can watch videos, you can have apps, you have so many tools.
Okay, so before we go, remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Give love to our content and spread the word to help our channel grow.
Also, remember that you can rate our episodes and comment on each capsule.
Activate the bell so that you know when our next capsule is out, and take a look at the description and our Instagram account to take more advantage of our content.
Okay, so that's all for today. Bye for now.
Bye.